And in terms of like relationships with dialogue editors, how have you gone about that? Like, for instance, knowing like what you're listening to and how much can potentially be taken out, for instance, or how much kind of safety you have. Do you have any relationships with dialogue editors after you shoot? Because I know you go to the mix, but I just wondered if you had any
Right.
advice.
No, I do. I actually start relationships with them very early on in production, if not in pre-production. And I just, I always talk to them and I sort of discuss how I normally deliver my tracks, like, how I set up. What I always do is I put a mono mix on channel one, like a dailies mix on channel one, and then ISOs of everything that was used to make that mix on channels 2 through 8 or 2 through 10. And I explain that to them, and that's how I work. And is that good for them? Some people want a mix on 1 and 2, and then all the ISOs on 3 through 8 or whatever. And whatever. I mean, we just talk about it. And but I set up something with them, and then very early on, I started talking to them about getting feedback on whether they're happy with what they're getting, and what I can do differently. And a lot of it's about file naming and that kind of junk, because that's certain people have different protocols they like to follow for file naming and that kind of thing. And yeah, and then all the way through the mix. And then I, I believe it's really important to interact a lot with post production, and they can really be your allies and help you even get things that, because you can ask sometimes on set like 10 times or something, and you can tell that they've all right, they've had enough of you asking for it. But then when you say to the editors, let them know we really need this, they get a memo from the office. Editorial wants these lines wild, and you're like, oh really? How great is that? And that's I mean, then you get them, and then you're like, fantastic, because it's not you asking anymore, it's somebody else, and that can be very, very helpful sometimes.